Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. If you're new here, thanks for tuning in. I'm sorry for starting a little late. I feel like I'm always trying to like edit or do something that I shouldn't even do right beforehand, and I should just wait to do it afterwards, but I can't help but do that. So anyway, today I have another movie review for you guys. I'm going to be talking about this movie that I didn't even know existed until last night. I came across it on Paramount Plus. If you guys have been watching any of my previous episodes, then you know that I mentioned um, that I have a free trial. So I've been trying to kind of watch things on there before it runs out because I don't know if I'll be keeping it since I already have Netflix and Hulu and everything. So I was just like skating through because I was like, oh, I kind of want to watch a movie. And I do that thing. You guys let me know if you do this too, where I tend to like I scroll through all these movies and TV shows only for me to end up picking something that I've already seen before, which is so like I mean it's kind of dumb because it's like why are you picking stuff that you've already seen before? You might as well just watch something new, right? So I was telling myself I was like, no, I think I want to watch something I've never seen before. So um I was scrolling through specifically like black movies, and I feel a little bad too because I said that I wanted to kind of talk about like black art, or whether it be like a black actress or black directors or producers or something like that for this month, for Black History Month. And now it's already what, the 25th, the last Saturday of this month. As you guys know, February is like the shortest month, so it just goes by so quickly, and I really didn't get a chance to do that. I'm looking back on my episodes, I'm like, I really didn't get a chance to do that. So sorry for that, but I'm trying to make up for it for this episode at least. But anyway, so I came across this movie and I saw like the cover, and I was like, wait a minute, is that Kat Graham? I was like, is that Kat Graham? So if you guys don't know Kat Graham, she's an actress, a singer. She's a triple threat, but most people will probably remember her or recognize her from The Vampire Diaries. It was a really popular teen show that was on the CW back in 2009, and it ran for about 7 or 8 seasons, I think. And I was super into it. I was like obsessed with it when I was in high school. And she was like my favorite character, or one of my favorite female characters on the show. So I've kind of like followed her career a little bit, and I've seen her in other things outside of that. So I was kind of surprised to see her because I was like, wait, I didn't even know this movie existed. Like, what the heck? But then again, I really wasn't checking for Paramount Plus like that, and I really haven't watched anything on there besides the new Criminal Minds episodes or the new season, and then I watched Scream 5 on there, and then the Teen Wolf movie. So I watched a few things since I've had the trial, but I really wasn't like watching a lot of stuff on there. So I was kind of surprised, and I was like, okay, she's in this. I was like, I gotta see this. Um so, I am talking about a movie starring a black actor. So I'm trying to make up for not doing that for this whole month. But anyway, so this movie is sort of like an erotic thriller, I guess. Like it says that it's romance, but it's definitely like, I would say it's more of a thriller mystery, and then there's romance in it type of thing. And also, if you are a fan of Lifetime movies, or if you like those style of movies, I feel like you would like this. Like, I would recommend this for people who like Lifetime movies because it has that feel to it, if that makes sense, where like as soon as the main character meets this person and they fall for him, that things are going to turn bad, and it has that feeling to it, especially from the very beginning. So um I'll just say that. And then for those who, if you haven't watched my episodes, or like I said, if this is your first time tuning in and you don't really know like what I tend to talk about TV and films. Although lately I've been talking more about films. And usually when I do movie reviews, I try to talk about it in general in the first 5 or 10 minutes, and then I'll transition and go into spoilers and all the details and stuff, because I know, like, for me anyway, like I don't like for movies to get spoiled if it's something I really want to see, or if it's something I haven't seen. So I try to extend the same courtesy to you guys. So I let you know that I'm talking about the movie just in general for right now, but I will be talking about spoilers. So when I do that, you guys can click out of the video if you don't want to hear it, and then just come back to the episode later, because I upload all of my episodes same day. So the same day that I'm going live, it will be up on my YouTube channel. Of course, it's up on my Facebook page, and then I also upload to Spotify and Anchor. So for those who enjoy listening to podcasts instead of watching it, you could listen to it as well. But anyway, all my previous episodes are always uploaded, so you can always just go back to it. It's not really a big deal. But anyway, um, so yeah, so it stars Kat Graham as this girl named Claire, and you are immediately told that she has trauma, that she has, I was going to say a dark past, but just something really tragic happened to her at a young age. And it's clearly, stayed with her up until present point. It's something that's kind of followed her, I would say. And she's working for like this big, I believe it's like a real estate company or something like that, and she ends up meeting this mysterious woman. And it's like kind of like an immediate attraction thing where like the characters are locking eyes with each other, and they're making, they're being flirty. It's like without even really having to say anything, like you already know something's going to happen between them, right? And I guess without spoiling anything, without going into too much detail, getting involved with this lady, it comes with a lot of problems, a lot of consequences that Claire was not ready for and did not, foresee. So that's kind of where we see, I guess, Claire in the beginning, and how it starts and how it sets the scene. So it starts really with what happened in her past, and then it jumps to present time, and then her working for this big company and all of that, like where she works at, all of that plays into it. Like pretty much, like I said, like a Lifetime movie, it's all connected. And you all, like, you realize in the end, you're like, oh, all these little like pieces of foreshadowing throughout the movie, all these hints that they were giving you, and sometimes you don't catch them, and then like when they reveal it at the end, you're like, oh my goodness, how did I not realize that? It's one of those movies. Um so yeah, there's romance in it, but I would say it's more of like a thriller mystery type movie. And Yeah, and it's just crazy because I didn't know that it existed. So apparently, I looked it up. It came out January of last year, so it's been out for a little over a year now. I don't know for sure if like what other streaming platforms is on, since I watched it on Paramount Plus. I'm assuming it's probably available to purchase or rent on Apple TV. There's a lot of stuff on there. And then maybe like Amazon Prime too. I'm not sure. I don't know if it's on Netflix or Hulu, but you guys can check and let me know. But yeah, I would just look it up if you are interested in watching it, or if what I'm saying sounds intriguing to you, or if you're a fan of Lifetime movies. Like I said, I grew up watching Lifetime movies because of my mom, and then like my sister and stuff. So it kind of has that same formula a little bit. It's not like exactly a Lifetime movie, but it kind of reminds me of that, I would say. And it's funny because I'm so used to seeing Kat. Girl, if you see this, hey, how you doing? Yeah, it's so funny because I'm used to seeing her in like much more of like the rom-com sweet like holiday movies. That's what I've been seeing her in a lot lately. Like over the past few years, she's been in quite a few Netflix movies. So if you want to check those out, you can. And they're all like really cute movies, and it's usually stuff that comes out around the holidays. So that's kind of what I've been seeing her in. Now I know she does, tons of other things too, but I feel like since Vampire Diaries, that's kind of what, for me personally, what I've been watching her in. So to see her in something like this was different. Um, and it kind of took me back to kind of, like Vampire Diaries days, although that was a teen show. So it was some dark scenes in that show. I'm not going to lie, because it's all like supernatural and fantasy. And then of course there's romance in it as well. And she was a witch in that show. So there was a lot that happened like with her character, like a lot of dark stuff. But I don't know. Just like I said, seeing her in this was cool and different. So I'm glad that, I'm glad that I found that movie. I feel like I found it just in time, and it gave me something to talk about on the podcast. Um, so yeah, I would recommend checking it out if you haven't seen it. It I don't, you know what? I was gonna say it's not really predictable, because a lot of times when you come across those movies where you watch the person fall for somebody, and you already know like, okay, this person's gonna end up being crazy, or like something really bad is gonna happen, and then it ends exactly how you imagined it would, or how you pictured it would. This one isn't really like that. Like there's a twist, or there's multiple twists, I should say. In some cases it's kind of predictable, but then in another case I was like, whoa, okay, like I was like, what? Well, I can't really say it yet. I'll say it in a minute, but I was just like, Okay, yeah, they definitely got me at the end with this one because I wasn't expecting that. It was one of those things where it's like, oh my god, like they're doing too much. Like the people in this movie, the bad people or the villains, whatever you want to call it, the antagonists, I was like, they're doing too much, like doing absolutely way too much. And again, that's why it reminds me of a Lifetime movie. I know I keep saying that, but it does. Um, so yeah, I recommend checking it out, and maybe I'm a little biased too because I'm a fan of Kat, and I consider us friends now. Now that we've talked, so I feel like you got to support your friends. You got to support your friends and their projects. So I'm immediately drawn to movies that she's in because I like supporting her, and I've always been a fan of her since Vampire Diaries. So it was nice to be able to see that because my Paramount Plus little free trial thing that's about to run out. So I don't know if I'll be streaming anything from Paramount Plus anytime soon. And this is not like sponsored by them or anything. I'm not working with them because I know I keep talking about Paramount Plus. I've been mentioning it probably like the last few episodes, and I know people are probably like, "Why does she keep talking about that?" It's just because it initially started with I think Criminal Minds, and then they were advertising the Teen Wolf movie like heavy. Like every time I would, switch on the TV, especially on MTV, there was a commercial about the Teen Wolf movie, and obviously, I was a fan of the show, so I wanted to see it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to get Paramount Plus if I want to see it because that's how they get you. They're like, oh, it's only available on the streaming service, so you gotta pay for it or you gotta do the free trial thing, and then after that, you know how it goes. They try to make you pay so they can keep you on as a customer for longer. But I feel like at this point, like once it runs out, I'm probably not gonna keep it unless something else comes out and I'm like, I absolutely have to see this and it's only on Paramount Plus type of thing, because it's just too much. So so yeah, like I said, I was glad that I was able to catch that before I'm not able to, watch movies on there anymore. And let's see. Should we just get into the details? I kind of just really want to talk about what happens in the film. So, this is the time I'm going to transition into spoilers, just letting you guys know. And then before I do that, I did want to let you guys know that my podcast is sponsored by Stream Media. So they're not sponsored by Paramount Plus, but it's sponsored by Stream Media. And the way I'm able to go live every week on Facebook with you guys is through the Stream Studio software. And that's what I'm currently using right now. That's what I've been using. Pretty much in every episode that I do. So if you guys are curious and want to check into it, if you're a content creator, if you're looking to become a content creator, especially having to do with podcasting or live streaming or gaming or anything like that, I highly recommend checking this out because it is a free service. So, anybody could use it. All you need is your email. And then once you put in your email, you get a login code and then you're in. And you can play around with all the different features that they give you. I tried to kind of show you. I feel like I tried to show you guys a little bit more when I first started the podcast. Things that I could change on my end because obviously you guys can't see what I'm seeing on my end, but there are some cool little features on the side. And then I'm able to change my background, my name. I'm able to add the logo in the corner. And then they're adding new features and things all the time, and I believe they're also trying to make it easier to put your content on every social site, at least all the major ones. So I know obviously I'm able to do it through Facebook, but I think they're working on getting it through like TikTok and things like that. You can even go live through YouTube and then Twitch because I know that's a biggie for people who are into gaming. So yeah, they're pretty much adding new stuff. So I would suggest following them on their social platforms, and then of course, like I try to, you could update you guys when I know of any new features. But then again, I don't always know either until I'm on here and I'm actually just like playing around. I'm like, oh, they added this or this is new. So yeah, follow them on social media if you're interested, and then let them know that I sent you. Yeah. So anyway, let's get into the spoilers. Let's get into the real nitty gritty stuff. So I was like, and obviously, like if you've seen this, then you know what I'm talking about. But um, I kind of how should I say this? Like I kind of already knew that Eve, Eve is the girl that Claire ends up messing around with. So wait, hold on. Let me just explain it because like I feel like a lot of you probably have not seen it. So as I said, Claire is working for this like big real estate. I believe it's like a real estate company because her boss, Scott, is someone that is, he deals with like properties. He's like a millionaire, billionaire, whatever. He's a rich guy, has his money in all these properties and investments and things like that. So, and this guy is someone that Claire has looked up to for quite a while. Like she was reading his book. There's a scene where she's like reading his book, and it kind of goes back to even like her childhood. So, she lost her family in a fire when she was 15. And obviously that traumatized her. And on top of that, it happened because the landlord, the place that they were staying in, the landlord was pretty negligent and didn't do all of the checks and the things that, you're supposed to do as a landlord. And that's why the fire started. And that's why she lost her parents and her sister. So, she's been alone since she was 15. And there was definitely some resentment there for the fact that they weren't taking care of the building and the place and keeping things up to code. And so what she ends up doing is she lights like the landlord's place on fire, and it doesn't. Now, see, what's funny is in the beginning they show like they show the scene of when she does it when she's a kid, and it kind of like implies that she purposely did it to kill him, and to get back at him and everything for what happened with her family. But then you find out later on that he didn't die. And that was kind of surprising because I really thought that she had killed him. And I was like, oh, shoot. I was like, that's, that's pretty dark. Like, I mean, I understand like being upset because you lost your whole family to that. But at the same time, I was like, that's pretty cruel to like light somebody's place on fire and knowing that they're in it. Um, so that was one of the twists too, because I really had thought the guy died. Now the guy got messed up for sure because he didn't know, he didn't know that she was in there like drizzling the place in gasoline and stuff. He didn't probably didn't know until like the very last minute. And he was asleep on the couch. So because they showed the little like flashback scene in the beginning, and so all of that happened to her when she was young, and she did get in trouble. Obviously, she told the cops that she didn't know that the guy was in there, and probably because what had happened with her family and the fact that she was only 15, she got sent to a halfway house, I believe, and or she might have, I don't know if they said specifically if she went to like a juvenile place first and then went to a halfway house, but she was kind of like, she kind of got into some trouble after that, and she was on her own, so she probably wasn't in a good place, not really going down a good path. And so she's in this home, and I'm assuming it was probably with other families, other kids, probably in not so great places in their life too. And she ends up, I think she ends up meeting Scott, or at least hearing about Scott. And what we find out a little bit later too, once she's actually communicating with him, because he's such a like big shot. You know how those types of corporate jobs go, where like you don't even really communicate with your boss and stuff, and it's kind of like, oh, you have to make an appointment to talk to them type of thing. So when she gets past that and she actually starts to get close with him and actually speak with him, that she learns that like him and his first wife had started the halfway house, and that's kind of like their passion project. And so I think there's a part of her that feels like grateful to him for that. And then on top of that, he's doing like the work that she probably has always wanted to do. So obviously there's some like admiration there. And it's not like in a, oh, I like, it's not like in a crush way. It's just like in a, you can tell she like looks up to him and stuff. So, um, so you have that going on the side. And then there's a scene that she goes to this like hotel pool because her friend works at the hotel, and he's a real friend. I'm gonna tell you that. Like, if you watch the whole movie, you can be like, oh, he's a real one for sure. So he pretty much, lets her in like when nobody's at the pool, and there is a heat wave going on in the city, hint, hint, like the title. And she goes there just to, have some time alone, and then this lady shows up like out of nowhere, and she completely strips and gets in the pool, and Claire is looking at her like, it's like, do you not see me here? Like, okay, maybe I should go. And the girl is, she's immediately like flirting with her and telling her like, oh, you don't have to leave, blah 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 blah, you should get in the pool. And so Claire ends up leaving. So that's their first interaction. That's who she ends up messing with, right? So from then on, it's kind of like a little back and forth where they're, looking at each other and all that kind of stuff, and they exchange a few words before they really sleep with each other. But it's pretty fast, it happens pretty fast. And so, like watching that, I'm like, I know from Lifetime movies when you meet someone, when you meet a stranger in these movies and then they seem very like alluring and everything, and then you think things are going all good, it's never good in these types of movies. So I already knew that like something was going to be either something was going to be wrong with her or something with her past, or you know what I mean? Like I just knew. I was like Claire's going to get caught up in her dramatics and I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop. It was like one of those feelings. Um and so yeah, so she's like kind of dating her, seeing her, whatever, and then also things start to go well at her job, and you think things are looking up and everything. She's kind of getting in good with the boss. She's her position has been upgraded and everything, and she's kind of like his assistant at this point. And then things are going good with Eve, and then of course things start going wrong, which we all saw that coming, right? And I would say one of the other twists, like one of the other good twists, is that when she runs into Eve and her husband, she finds out that Eve is married to her boss. So then it's complicated because it's like, you didn't tell me that you were married, and let alone that you're married to my boss. Excuse me. like why would you not mention that? And of course she's like pissed about it, and she's mad at her for a little bit, and it's that thing of like, I'm not going to talk to you, leave me alone. And Eve is trying to like get back in good with her, and then eventually she does. So now it's like, now they're knowingly like, or I should say not they, but Claire is knowingly having an affair with her boss's wife now. And they're trying to sneak around and everything. And of course, somebody from their job sees, and it's just one of those things where you're like, this is not going to end well. Like, why would you put yourself in this position? Now, I will say that Claire didn't know at first, obviously, because Eve was not forthcoming about that. She didn't say that she was married. Like I said, those mysterious characters are never good because they're always hiding something, right? So she didn't tell her. Pretty sure she didn't tell her that she was married, and she definitely didn't say that she was married to Scott. Now I don't know for sure if actually no, she knew. She knew. Let me not. She knew. So Claire didn't know though. At first. And then it was like when she did know and she kept seeing her, then it was kind of like, okay, like now you're just being stupid because you're putting yourself in a bad position. Because not only is this your boss's wife, but this is like your boss like can get you into places. Like your boss has money, he has the status, you're getting in good with him. If you mess this up, like girl, you're messing up your whole career. And I'm like, is it really worth that for this girl that you just met? But you know how these movies go. So that was another twist. So there was a lot of twists in this, to be honest. Like I said, I you already have that feeling that like something's gonna go wrong with this Eve lady, but it doesn't. It goes way deeper than that. Like by the end of it, and I'll just skip to the part that really got me. So again, if you don't want to hear spoilers, you should have clicked out like 5 minutes ago. But the part that really got me was, so at the end, I know I'm skipping a lot, and it probably won't make sense if you haven't seen it. But at the end, it ends up with her like figuring out that Eve is a fraud, as we all saw that coming, right? And Scott ends up getting killed. And clearly it's like somebody's framing her because the weapon is at Claire's house. They're saying her hair is there, and so at this point she's like, Eve has to be the one setting me up. Like who else would it be? Like she's the one that's closest to me right now. That's her husband. Like it makes sense that she would probably take him out because of for money and stuff like that. And come to find out, it's not just Eve, it's also the detective that's working on the case. And then on top of that, it's one of the guys that works at their job, and I'm blanking on his name right now. Oh my god. um I forgot his name, but he's one of her coworkers, and this is a coworker that did not like her from the very beginning, right? Feeling like she was coming in and taking his place, stealing his job, because he was sort of like a Scott's assistant, I guess, in the beginning. And then like when Claire got in good with him, then she got that position, and he was salty about it. And it was just like, whatever. Like she was trying to be nice to you, you were being rude from the very beginning. So there is a scene though where he does apologize to her, and he's like, I'm going through a lot, like with my dad. My dad's in the hospital. and I'm stressed out with this job and blah blah blah, and I was taking it out on you. Like, I apologize. Like, we're cool. So you think, oh, okay, like that's it? No, come to find out, the reason why he's in on this going against Claire is because his dad, y'all listen to me, his dad is the one that Claire tried to burn up when she was 15. I was like, bro, are you kidding me? So when she set that fire to the landlord's place, his dad is the I was like, dude, this is too much. Like, the ending, I was like, hold on, because it just kept being one thing after another. It was like, oh, here comes Eve, and here comes the detective, and now here comes her coworker. And then when he said that was his dad. I was like, oh my god, oh my god, like that was the best to me. I felt like that was the best twist in the whole movie. I did not even put that together. And it, again, there was so many little hints in the movie, and I just didn't put it together. Maybe for some of you guys you'll be like, oh, I already knew that, but for me, I was like really surprised. I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, this is crazy. Like, this is way too much. So pretty much like all three of them were working against her for their own like selfish reasons. Now he just wanted to like ruin her life because he was like, you ruined my dad's life, therefore you ruined my life. um and see, and that's how I knew that the dad wasn't dead, because like he's been going to see his dad in the hospital. So obviously, like he, that fire really messed him up, but it didn't kill him like I initially thought. But it was crazy because he mentioned it throughout the movie. He was like, yeah, like my dad, but he didn't go into detail. And she tried to like ask him about it. And this is when he was still being rude to her. So when she asked, he was kind of just like, we're not friends. Like, it's none of your business. And so, see, we never, like, we as an audience, we never really knew what had happened with his dad. So that was like that full circle moment at the end. I was like, oh my gosh, she was the one that set fire to his dad. And that's why he's messed up like that. And I was just like, dude, like that's crazy. Like something that she did when she was 15, like completely like followed her up until adulthood. And it kind of came back to bite her in the butt, essentially. Um, and then, on Eve's part, it was, she's just manipulative, basically. She was like, basically telling her, I don't want to kill you because I actually fell for you. Like, like same old cheesy lines like, oh, I didn't expect to fall for you and blah, blah, blah. Like she's, doing all this stuff for like money and to be like independent. I think she really wanted to get away from Scott, her husband. That's why they killed him. And he was super controlling, so he would have never let her go like on his own. So, she just felt stuck and everything, which I understand, but like to go to this extreme, it was like doing too much. Then the detective, I was like, detective, what are you doing? Like, so he has trauma because his wife died of cancer, and at the time, I guess that she was really sick and he was doing everything he could to save her. He made a deal with Eve, and that's kind of how he got involved with her. And it had something to do with Scott's first wife, because his first wife went missing. And again, if somebody has been married before and their significant other went missing, that's always a red flag, especially in movies. I can't fully say in real life, but like in movies, every time something like that happens, you're like, no, there was something fishy going on there. There's no way they just disappeared. And like, that doesn't, what I mean? It's like, why would they mention that detail unless it has something to do with the story or it serves the story, basically. So, but yeah, so we already knew something was wrong there, right? So he was involved in that. Him and Eve were involved in that. And then I guess, God, is his name Lane, the coworker? I don't even remember his name, but the other guy that was in on it, that wanted to go after Claire, I guess he came later, because once he found out who Claire was and that she was going to be working at the same place as them, then he was like, oh yeah, I need to get this chick. Like, she ruined my life. I'm going to get her. So they kind of all had their own motives, and they all were pretty much out for themselves. But it ended up being where like Claire was kind of like the ultimately who I guess they were trying to destroy in the end. And thankfully she does survive, and she kills I think his name is Lane. God, she kills the coworker because they're tussling with the gun and it goes off, and with Eve, Eve didn't try to shoot her, But again, she was trying to get in her head, and Claire was like, no, like, we're not doing this anymore. Like, maybe I do love you. Maybe you do. At one point you did really care about me, but like this, no, this is not going to go down like this. So I'm glad that she stuck her, stuck to her guns and everything, and kind of recognized that like Eve wasn't really, because if she had really stayed with her, it's like, come on, like if she could do this with all these other people, like she's definitely going to screw you over at some point. So, you know, she went to prison for a long time. And then I'm honestly not sure what happened with the detective. I think he was like knocked out in the last scene. So I don't know if he died or if he just like went to prison as well. I'm not sure. But either way, Claire got away, and she got this huge check at the end for what happened with her family and everything, and the fact that like, or actually no, I think she got the check because of the fact that the detective was going after her. So like this, like a city cop was going after her, and so the city, I think, had to like pay her. So it could have been, maybe it could have been both, I don't know, but either way she got a huge check. And she's basically saying at the end, like, I'm gonna invest in some properties, like I'm gonna do what I've been wanting to do this whole time, pretty much kind of like what Scott's been doing, and I'm sure make a name for herself and all this. So, like, she got the money, she got the resources to do it now. So things end up really good for her, and I was glad. I was hoping it wouldn't be one of those movies um where like everything falls apart for her and she ends up like, in the psych ward or something in the end. I don't know. So I'm glad that she made it out alive, despite what she did when she was a teenager. But yeah, it was good. It was a pretty good movie. It was just crazy. Like, there was a lot of twists in it. So again, if you like those types of movies, you will like this. Um but then again, if you're listening to this, you just hear me spoil like the ending. But some people don't care about that and they'll go and watch the movies anyway. So if you watched it, or if you plan on watching it, leave a comment down below and let me know what you thought. I love to discuss like movies and TVs with other people, and I like to hear the people's like opinions about it and theories and all that kind of stuff. I don't think this is one of those movies that will be like a part two. I would be surprised if there was a sequel, because it's kind of like it, unless maybe like Eve gets out of jail or something, or the detective comes back. Like, we think he's dead, and then he comes back after her. I don't know. I guess if they really wanted to continue it, they could. But I feel like it, was resolved in the end. So I don't see this being a sequel. But either way, like I said, I enjoyed it. And I want to know what you guys think. Of course, you can always hit me up on pretty much any of my socials, but I recommend you guys leaving comments either under the Facebook video or on my Facebook page or under the YouTube page, just so like other people can see it, and hopefully like people, like the more people that comment and the more interactions that we have going, and the more I can grow my podcast and my channels and everything. So that's kind of the goal for this, especially for this year. I really want to be able to like talk to you guys, and have you guys talk to each other, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'm gonna be trying to work on kind of getting my social pages together. Like, I've started them, but it's pretty blank right now outside of like Facebook and YouTube. So it's hard to try to manage like your own social media and then manage, like, at my job I'm managing social media, so it's a lot to try to handle. But um I'm trying. You're just gonna have to be patient and give me time, and then I'll come together. And I have to, kind of sort out my ideas. But of course, like I said, you guys can let me know like what you would like to see from me and what you like to see on the podcast from this channel. I have an email too that you guys can email me. I believe it's Tiffany's TVscape@gmail.com. Again, I'll put all the socials below so you guys can follow me, or if you need to get in contact with me, you can. Um, and yeah, I think we're gonna wrap it up here. We're gonna make this a little bit of a shorter episode today. Thank you for tuning in. And since this is the last Saturday of February, happy Black History Month. I hope you guys, did some cool things to celebrate and enjoy it. I wish I would have been able to go, like go out and go to some type of like, I don't know, event or festival, but I didn't get to do that this year. So I tried to kind of celebrate it with like watching Black movies or TV shows or things like that. And it doesn't stop here. Just because February is ending, that doesn't mean that you stop supporting like Black businesses and Black entertainment, and people that Black people that are really talented. Just keep supporting them anyway. So hopefully I'll be able to do a, I don't know if it'll be next week, but there is a movie that I think it's already out in theaters, but I think it's coming out on Apple TV soon that I want to like rent to see. And Nia Long is in it, and Storm Reed is in it, and it's called Missing. And it's another. I know you're probably like, really, all these like horror and thriller movies, but it's a thriller, but it looks good. Like I went when I went to the movies, they were showing it, the previews, and I was like, okay, I want to see this, but I don't know if I'll be able to catch it in theaters, but I'm hoping that like if I'm able to stream it or rent it or something, then I could come on here and talk about it with you guys. So, that might be one of the things coming up within the next few weeks, hopefully. And yeah, I think that's it. And then just one last reminder, if you guys didn't know, now you know that my podcast is sponsored by Stream Media. So thank you to Stream Media for sponsoring the podcast. And yeah, I think we're gonna end it there. I will see you guys next weekend. Or at least I hope to see you guys next weekend. Hope you guys have a good week going forward. And yeah, we're gonna keep this rolling. We're gonna have more movie reviews come in. I'm hoping to get back into, I know I keep saying that I want to get back into TV series, but I feel like it's probably mainly gonna happen like springtime, because that's when a lot of shows I think are gonna be coming back. Um like Barry and Stranger Things. That won't be for probably a while, but I know Barry is coming back, and I feel like there's a couple other shows too that I was watching that will be coming back either around spring or summertime, probably. And I'm so sad that Barry. I think this is the last season 4, that's going to be coming out. I'm really depressed about it, so don't give me a hard time about it, okay? I'm really sad about it because like I literally started this podcast talking about Barry season 3, and the fact that like, you know it's almost at the end is really really sad. And just because I love the show and I love Bill and everything, so, and I love the whole cast, so it's like, oh, it's gonna be so sad. But I'm gonna be really excited once they drop a trailer. And you guys already know, like once the new episodes come out, I'm going to be doing like episode by episode discussion, so I'm really excited to do that. um and yeah, I feel like that's kind of what's to come, so hopefully you guys will tune in, and I will see you next week. Bye bye.